What's up everyone, I'm Gooshy, and in this video we're going to be ranking all the armor sets in Ghost of Tsushima. I'll also be letting you guys know where and when you can find this armor, so you can hunt it if you want to. So without further ado, let's get into it. Before we get into the armor, let's go over our tiers. At the bottom we got the Khan with the Feels Bad. Next we got the Dishonored Face from Lord Shimura. Second best is Happy Jin. And at the very top, we got anything that is teabag worthy. Alright, starting off with the Broken Armor. Broken Armor comes with 0 perks. It is the first armor that you get in the game. Really, you're only going to use this if you're going to challenge yourself, so we're putting it at the bottom at the Feels Bad. Next is the Samurai Clan Armor. If you notice at the top, looking at the upgrade path, we're actually going to compare at the Armor 4 version. Armor 5 is only gotten through New Game Plus. And why this is important is because it affects the stats of the perks that the armor provides, so we can get an even comparison. Now the Samurai Clan armor is the tankiest armor in the game, giving you a major reduction in damage and a massive increase to health. Finally, it gives you a 30% resolve gain when you take damage, which resolve is used to heal. So all these perks synergize super well together. And as you look at this clip, this is on hard difficulty and you're an absolute tank. As you play through the game, you know how much damage you can take and how quickly you can die. So this tank build gives you much more room for error if you get hit a lot. Of course, this is boosted by the charms you can get. You can equip 3 charms of resistance, which do stack and each give you a reduction to damage by a major amount. And the charm that brings it all together, the Charm of Undying 2, which majorly reduces damage when you're below 50% health. Because this is such a reliable playstyle, I put it in the Happy Jin tier. You can get this armor from the side quest, The Tale of Lady Masako. This is available very early in Act 1. Once you reach the Golden Temple, just look for the armor and she'll give you the quest. Next up is the Tadayori's armor. If you like the bow and arrow, this is the armor set to use. You get an increased knock and reload speed, more concentration meter. Headshots restore 50% of the concentration meter. We just take a look at this gameplay right here. If your aim is quick and good, you can essentially have concentration, which gives you slow-mo forever. Pretty OP, but you're reliant on the amount of arrows that you have. You can get arrows back through some charms, but it's only a % chance. Now because how strong this is, this goes at the top of Happy Jin tier. There's armor sets that are better than this in my opinion, so that's why it's not going in the bag worthy tier. You can get this armor set through a Mythic Tale, which is available in Act 1 and located on the map right over here. Next up we have the Hero of Tsushima armor set. Plain and simple, this is a worse version of the Samurai Clan armor. However, you do get this if you bought the deluxe or pre-ordered, which should come automatically if you have the director's cut. So just check your inventory for it. The only reason you're going to be using this is if you haven't done the side quest for Samurai Clan armor yet. Just do that quest as soon as possible and replace this armor. It's going in the Feels Bad tier. Next up, we got one of the coolest armors in the game, the Gosaku armor. Main reason you're going to be using this is for the major increase to stagger damage. If your playstyle is to choose the best stance, stagger your enemy as fast as possible, then this is the armor for you. In my opinion, stagger isn't that strong, and enemies' stagger meter goes down pretty quick anyway, but the massive increase to health is alright. We're putting this in the Dishonored tier. This is another Mythic Tale. This is available during Act 2, and you can start the quest right over here on the map. The quest takes a little bit longer as you need to find multiple keys around the island. Luckily, they are marked on your map once you start the quest. There'll be a finale and then you'll get the armor. Next up, we have the Sakai Clan armor. You got your standard increases to melee damage, a massive increase to health, but probably its most unique feature is that it increases the standoff streak. Once you upgrade it all the way, you can get it up to 2, getting a total of 5 possible enemies you can take down with your standoff. Now it's up to you if you like this playstyle of using this standoff mechanic. If you're struggling, it is very useful to start a fight, and if you're successful, taking out 5 enemies within a group really thins out the crowd and makes fights a lot easier for you. Other than standoffs, I found the other perks aren't that impactful, so it's going to go in the Dishonored tier above Gosaku. You'll easily get this through the main story in Act 2. Next up, we have the Kensei armor. If you look at the perks, it's mostly focused around ghost weapons, increased damage, damage reduction, and a buff. But really the thing that makes this armor great is the resolve gains. Why? Just check this clip out. you take a look at the bars of resolve that I have all throughout the fight, I'm always regaining more resolve than I'm losing. I've already made multiple videos on this build exactly, which I think is the best build in the game. I'll link a card here and in the description below if you want to check it out. Another reason why this is so OP is not only does it work for attacking, but when you heal, you also use resolve, which this applies as well, and you get resolve back. Because of that, this is going on the top at the bag worthy tier. To get this armor, that's another mythic tail, also available in Act 2 and located right over here on the map. Next up, we got the Ronin attire. Got an increase in melee damage and surprisingly some stealth perks. 20% isn't that high. The slower detection while leaving grass is pretty good. But if you're going for a stealth build, there's other armor that does a better job at this. So it's going to feels bad. Speaking of which, we have this one, the Fundoshi. Running and sprinting no longer create noise. And hey, just look at it. Do I have to say any more? In my opinion, this is a better stealth tool because you can use the environment to your advantage, most notably the grass and cover to easily lose enemies and then sneak up on them again really quickly, all while running. For the looks, it's going higher than the Ronin at the dishonorable tier. Now you can get the Fundoshi by visiting all of the hot springs. There's a ton and there are interactive maps, which I can link down below in the description, so you could find them all. Next up, we got the Traveler's attire. Now this armor set is not a combat specific armor set, and maybe is the only out of combat one. The main purpose is to remove the fog on the map faster and to track artifacts. So really, if you're traveling around, just use this. Once you get into combat, just switch to whatever armor set you like during combat, and it's a win-win. Especially going through your first playthrough and you're just trying to unlock points of interest, this is very useful, so it's going in the Happy Jin tier. You'll get this right after the prologue, so don't even have to worry about finding it. Next up, we have the Ghost armor. For stealth, this is pretty good, reducing detection speed by 40%, but really the other perks are what make it really OP. If you know what Ghost Dance is, you already know how good that is. And even this third perk, kills have 30% chance to terrify nearby enemies, is extremely strong. Take a look at this clip. I'll shoot one arrow and everyone falls down in fear. Of course, we boost this terrify chance with more charms. The fear mechanic can be extremely useful, and this is the best armor that takes advantage of it. This is going in the Happy Jin tier, below the Tadayori's armor. Most ways to terrify are limited by your ghost weapon capacity, which is even less than arrows, so that's why it's going under. This is another main story armor which you get in Act 2, so you'll get it eventually. Next up, we got the Mongol Commander's armor. This is one of those armor sets where other armor sets do better job at providing the same perks. The strongest perk is the last one, where out of combat, it massively reduces Mongol detection speed, and only Mongols. Mongols aren't the only enemy type, so not applicable all the time, but that massive reduction is good when it does work. It's going in the Dishonored tier, and you have to wait all the way to Act 3 to get it. Once you get to Jogaku Temple, you'll find this guy by the stables, talk to him, and the quest will start. Next up, we have the Deadly Rivals attire. His armor is basically the same as the Sakai clan armor, but if you don't like the standoff mechanic and you want more ghost weapon damage, this might be the armor set for you. However, you can't get this on your first playthrough. This is only available to buy in your New Game Plus playthrough. In New Game Plus, there's a new NPC where you can only buy it with flowers, a new kind of currency that you just get through doing the quests again. It's a better Sakai clan armor, so I'm going to put it above it at the Dishonored tier. Finally, we have the Sarugami armor. We get some pretty unique perks where regular parry is disabled and you can only perfect parry. Luckily, the timing windows are massively increased, but with a successful perfect parry, you get a chain of 3 attacks that blinds enemies. These perks are pretty good by itself and should land it in Happy Jin tier, but as you can see, it also gives you resolve gains. I maxed this out, but level 4 compared to the others gives you a massive increase to resolve gains, which is better than the Kensei armor. So the combination of these two major benefits makes this build the best in the game. If you're going for the infinite resolve build, which gives you unlimited heavenly strikes, unlimited heals, this is the new best armor to use that build with. With that, this is going all the way to the top at the bag worthy tier, and this is your full Ghost of Tsushima armor tier list. Like, comment, subscribe if you found this video helpful, and as always, thank you guys for watching. Hope to catch you in the next one, and GG's.